Deep Rough Podcast, and I'm your host, Ali Gary. And here at the Deep Rough Podcast, we talk about all things golf. And to get right into today's topic, which is how the country club culture destroyed the PGA and opened the door for the Live Golf Tour. And when I say how the country club culture destroyed the PGA, I want to start by saying the golf culture or the clubhouse culture has always been very protective of its privileged and privacy for upper class of society to talk freely, do business, party with one another without being subjected to the lower class of society, if you will. Golf, as we know, has a well-documented history of being racist, but over the years, the PGA Tour has done a really great job of changing that narrative and making the game way more inviting to everyone, and they really deserve credit for that. But residue from the past still plays a part in how golf is experienced and perceived to so-called outsiders of this country club culture. And I believe when Tiger Woods first came to golf, there was a really, really great opportunity to bridge the gap between the country club culture and mainstream culture, especially through African Americans who identify with Tiger so strongly, especially at the time when Tiger first came into the game. But I believe that golf still having the residues of wanting to preserve the culture of the actual country club where they dine and converse and do all these different things, marketed in a way in which there was a filter on which kinds of minorities could really identify with playing golf. And what I mean by that is, it's like if you leveled up to the point where you can be here, fine. But in order for something to be mainstream, it has to be in touch with all walks of life. In golf, I'm not sure if they really wanted, the PGA Tour had a responsibility to country club culture to promote this game a certain way, to preserve their way of living. And when doing that, you couldn't reach the African American demographic the way that it needed to be reached when you had the window with Tiger Woods, because in order to do that, you would have really had to to go through things that connected with them. And I use the analogy that Michael Jordan was African Americans' first real understanding of golf in a way that an athlete that we really admired and looked up to played this game, and it opened our eyes to being curious about it. But the reality of it is, if Allen Iverson or someone of that ilk would have identified with the game, so many more kids probably would have, because his plight is so much more relatable to so many more of the African American demographic than Michael Jordan's plight is. And that's where hip hop really comes in. Hip hop is the most mainstream music in the world. And there's so many other companies, billion-dollar companies, that have figured out how to use hip hop in order to market and sell and a plethora of other things. So the world, when hip hop first came to when hip hop first formed, it was an art form that people did not think would last. A lot of people did not take seriously, but it morphed into the most powerful music or industry as far as music goes in the world. And to not take advantage of that avenue in order to connect with the demographic that you now had the ear of was an opportunity wasted. But it was an opportunity wasted, I believe, because as much as we want to grow this game, we don't want to change the culture of how we do this. A long story short, the PGA Tour has put itself in this position by having an obligation to protect the culture of the country club and not truly open the game mainstream to all, but open the game mainstream to filtered to certain people that fit the criteria. And ultimately, that lack of evolution, I believe, will hurt them in the end and allow Live Golf to take a place, take potentially be the biggest show in golf.